Hello, big news this week. There's a new startup accelerator in town, so you know I'm excited. And it has to do with the AI. More on that in a moment, but quickly, other news items that were interesting. If you're worried that we're in an AI bubble, Hugging Face's CEO says not to worry about it. It's not an AI bubble. It may be an LLM bubble, but it's not an AI bubble, according to him. So is that true? Is that false? Remains to be seen. I had the opportunity to sit down with a bunch of founders and interview them. Got 3 of those interviews out this week. One of those interviews was with a product that launched this week. I had to hustle it out because I saw the product launch and I was like, I just talked to him. I need to get that interview out. So Decky launched this week. If you use Google Slides to do your pitch decks, then you'll want to take a look at Decky. It helps you customize your slides more efficiently, more quickly, without a lot of like hunting and cutting and pasting and moving and those kind of things. You just load up your Google Slides, click Decky, prompt it, and it will retool your deck to help you have a better deck. So, and maybe a more well-positioned deck, maybe more accurate deck is a good way to put it. But anyway, take a look at that and maybe watch the interview with Mike, who's the co-founder of Decky. And then just a random fact that might be interesting to you. It certainly was interesting to me and made me feel exceptionally old. Calvin and Hobbes turns 40. It was started 40 years ago. So that's one of those things that has nothing to do with tech. It just kind of struck me, and I thought it might be interesting to you. Always a huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes, and it seems as relevant today as it did 40 years ago. Okay, let's get into this big news. New startup accelerator in town, new startup accelerator for the state. What does the startup accelerator do? Well, when I reveal the name of the accelerator, I think you might know because it's the Oregon AI Accelerator. Now, I've done a startup accelerator or two.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
So I'm super excited to hear this news. It's been a while since we've had a new accelerator in town. I think the last time might have been I can never remember the acronym, but it was the Oregon Enterprise Blockchain Venture Studio Acceleratory thing. I think that might have been the last one we had, but this one specifically focused on AI. It's sponsored by Google. That's the primary sponsor. Partners include Business Oregon, Portland Metro Region Innovation Hub, the hub of innovation for the Portland Metro region, Portland State, Oregon State, OHSU, OEN, TIE, and TAO. Jack Fan, who's a serial founder in town, is kind of the executive director. He's running the whole show, but it's happening under the guise and observation management of the hub of the Metro Region Innovation Hub. They'll provide mentorship like startup accelerators do, and a variety of other things, as well as perks and credits and those kind of things. But rather than me just kind of like pontificating on the accelerator and what it's designed to do and what it might provide, they're holding a bunch of information sessions. I attended one of those information sessions. I took scrupulous notes. What is the phrase I'm looking for? I took tons of notes so that I could talk to you about the accelerator and what it's doing. So forgive me if I read. I haven't had time to compose copy out of these notes. I was just jotting down bullet points as I heard things. And I kind of organized them a little bit. So let me take you through what I have learned about the brand spanking new Oregon AI Accelerator and what it might provide for you if you are a founder building in the AI space. Okay. It's a pilot program, 15 weeks, hybrid. Part of it's in person, part of it's virtual. The mission is to accelerate early stage AI startups through mentorship, community, statewide support. 20 companies in the first cohort, at least 50% of them need to be from Oregon. 50% can be from outside of Oregon if they're willing to establish some kind of Oregon presence. So like if they're going to open an office here or move their HQ here or that kind of thing, maybe have a co-founder here, that kind of thing. Like what is an Oregon company exactly? So 20 companies, 10 of those companies, Oregon, 10 can be from outside, but it may wind up being 20 Oregon companies. I mean, we might have so many amazing AI companies in our midst that they don't need to have people come from elsewhere to fill out the cohort. It may just be locals. We'll have to wait and see. In terms of structure and timeline, application deadline is December 15th. I know you always procrastinate about the application, so get to work on it right now. Get started on your application. It's due December 15th. That will be here before you know it. I will remind you. Also, don't forget the Oregon UAS Accelerator in Pendleton, another relatively new accelerator focused on the drone industry. I know their application is due sometime in early December too. So there are two applications you could potentially be thinking about. If you're doing AI for drones, you can apply to both of them. That's the beauty of having a very focused accelerator and having solutions that sometimes span multiple accelerators. So if you're working on AI for drones or drones for AI, apply to both. Okay, back to the Oregon AI Accelerator. They'll do interviews through December, make their final decision in mid-January with the program start date of early February. That's not a date, that's a time period, but you get what I say. The in-person will happen at the Metro Region Innovation Hub on the south end of the Portland State University campus, right there near the MAX tracks. The Orange Line tracks go right by there. February 3rd through the 13th will be the first part of the in-person, which will be onboarding, team building, mentor, speed dating, technical market validation. Then you go back to hybrid. Then there'll be a week in early March that'll be technical deep dives, AI integration, customer discovery sprints. Sometime in April, I wrote down April 1st, but I seriously doubt they're doing it on April Fool's Day. Go to market strategy, some pilot programs, partnership, and investor prep. And then sometime in the 2 weeks at the beginning of May, they'll refine their pitches and hold a demo day. So I will keep you posted on the final dates for that demo day because I think it might happen during Portland Startup Week 2026, which I'll talk a little bit about later in the show, but they just all kind of ties together. It's nice to see them aligning times and dates and all those kind of things. Okay, let me get back to my notes. Your weekly commitment, apart from the in-person stuff, is 10 to 15 hours per week required. You'll have a one-on-one with Jack Fan, who's directing. You'll have up to 3 mentor meetings per founder per week, I guess. So there'll be founder circles and workshops, as well as milestone-focused deliverables. I don't know what that means. I just jotted it down. In terms of selection criteria, how do you get picked to be part of the accelerator? Well, first, you get to work on your application before December 15th. So get on that. You have to apply if you want to be part of it. But what they'll be looking for is team strength and competition, team strength and composition. Solo founders are welcome. Problem market fit and solution effectiveness, AI integration, product, data analysis, business operations, current traction level. They'll consider all stages, and the Oregon alignment there. Ideal stage, 80% of the companies will already have product market validation with early traction or revenue. 20% can be earlier stage. So if they're taking about 20 companies, then that means 16 of them will be more of the product market fit types, and 4 of them will be more of the early stage types. So what do you get? Like, let's say you actually turn in your application and you make it through the gauntlet and you get accepted. What do you get out of the accelerator? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's an equity-free program, so no tuition, no equity taken. And there is a $50,000 prize pool, which I've never really seen in an accelerator format before, where you're kind of competing for prizes. I've seen ones where the cohort members vote for the outstanding startup in their cohort, and that company gets additional capital. I've seen ones where all the companies get the same capital. I've run programs where all the companies get the same capital. This one, it sounds like the prize pool will be divided between a $25,000 first prize, $15,000 second prize, and $10,000 third prize. I believe that's a grant, no dilution there, but I don't want to screw anything up. But if it's equity free and those are grants, then there shouldn't be any dilutive funding there. They're also pursuing additional sponsorships. There's a co-working space at Portland State in the Metro Hub where Upstart Collective is there at the hub. They're typical perks, like you'll get the notions and the cloud credits and the HubSpots and all those kind of things that you generally get with every accelerator program that gives away perks to early stage startups. And then they're very interested in developing communities. So they're already planning kind of alumni gatherings and gatherings with past founders and new founders and those kind of things. So keep an eye on that. Obviously workshops and that kind of thing. The program philosophy and focus, if you're wondering about their philosophical motivations for this, they want to get people investor ready. Doesn't require you pursuing investment. They just want to build on that strength in the companies. It's going to be a hands-on, interactive approach over lectures, a lot of community building and leveraging peer relationships. When they say AI, they mean AI defined broadly. Could be Gen AI, could be agentic, could be machine learning, robotics applications, all those kind of things. And they're really focusing on execution and go to market over pure like invention technology development. The demo day will, in fact, happen during Portland Startup Week. As I mentioned, investors and partners will be encouraged to attend, as will in the future alumni from the program. And the long-term vision for it is a pipeline of ideas to exits with future investment programs planned. So again, this is a pilot.
Pilot? What's a pilot?
This is the first time they're doing it. They're testing it. So they're going to figure out some things and what works and what doesn't. And whether they're going to do more remains to be seen, but they're definitely doing this one. So again, your application is due December 15th. Please get that in. I will provide a link below so that you can do that, get started on that. It's not hard. Just get it out of the way. It's going to be a quiet week next week. Take some of that quiet time, fill out your application, get it in. About 20 companies are being accepted. I would assume, just based on what we used to see at Pi, and given that they're doing this broadly, anyone can apply to this. So this is a global outreach. And when we used to do that kind of stuff at Pi, do the global outreach, we got applications from every single continent, and we usually got about 400 to 500 applications. So I would expect that this, given how hot AI is, given how many people are building in the space, that they're easily going to see that many applications for this. So get your damn application in early so you have the best chance of being selected. Speaking of AI and bad transitions, the big news in hardware for AI this week was, say it along with me, chiplet. It's just fun to say chiplet. I feel like I'm channeling Trump there. So chiplet, why am I saying chiplet so much? A company called Power Lattice out of Camas, Vancouver area, so across the Columbia to the north, is building a new, it's not a chip, it's a chiplet, but it's really designed to be less power intensive for AI processing. So if you don't know, yes, AI is extremely popular, but the problem is AI takes a ton of computing resources. Those are hard to come by. And then those computing resources take tons of electricity and power to do the work that they do. So the bottlenecks are not only availability of compute resources, the bottlenecks are also becoming the energy power needed to power that compute to get the AI to work. So multifaceted problem, tons of bottlenecks. So what Power Lattice is working on is a new kind of architecture on a chiplet. It's a chiplet that they're working on, and they are trying to re-architect the chip technology so it's far more efficient with power, so it takes less power to do the kind of computational work it needs to be doing. Enough of my stupid description of what they're doing. Let me read specifically what they describe as this new chiplet architecture. This chiplet architecture is inherently scalable and highly configurable, enabling seamless adaptation to any SoC power topology. Multiple chiplets can be deployed in parallel to construct the complete power delivery solution for a given SoC. Customers can implement power domains of varying shapes and sizes, optimized to the spatial and electrical requirements of the target system. Of course, why wouldn't they be doing that? Sounds amazing. They raised $25 million. They announced that this week. They'd kind of been working in stealth. I think Mike Rogaway over at the Oregonian uncovered them a while ago, but this was kind of their coming out of stealth announcement with $25 million. And Pat Gelsinger, who used to be the Intel CEO, is one of their investors. And it's among those, there's like a Head Computing that's doing that. There was another company that I'm spacing their name right now, but this is probably the third or fourth major funding round we've seen for hardware in the region recently. So when you combine that with things like Agility Robotics down near Corvallis, like we're definitely seeing some energy around hardware again in the community. And, that's part of our history with the Tektronix and the Mentor graphics and of course, Intel presence here, like technology and hardware and those kind of things are definitely part of our DNA here. So it's interesting to see that kind of coming back in a whole new way and maybe a hardware renaissance that AI is driving. And I didn't exactly expect that, but I'm happy to see it. Down south, new startup from Ben's Mike Ulan. If Michael Ulan sounds like a familiar name to you, it's because he was the founding CTO of Paxton AI. Paxton AI, of course, AI in the legal space, award-winning technology in the legal space. And Mike recently left Paxton to, kind of look for the next thing he wanted to do. And apparently he has found it. So he is now the founder of a company called Tenki. And Tenki is really trying to leverage AI and its probabilistic reasoning to help people with forecasting, to help people make better decisions based on data today, what might happen in the future. That's my very layperson description of what they're doing. Let me share again how they describe what they're doing so that I'm accurately conveying the product that Mike is working to build. There are proven methods for making accurate forecasts: game theory, Bayesian updating, super forecaster techniques that teams like Good Judgment have refined over decades. But these approaches have historically required specialized training, deep statistical knowledge, and an almost inhuman ability to stay dispassionate when new information drops. Most of us don't have time for that. Most businesses can't afford to hire a team of PhD economists every time they need to forecast a market move or a strategic decision. So this is technology designed to help people be better at forecasting, be more dispassionate, more objective with forecasting. I'm super interested in it. It seems to have any number of applications. I immediately go to like things that frustrate me about typical forecasts and that they seem to just be random guesses. And so adding rigor and objectivity to this pursuit sounds super interesting, sounds like a good job for AI. And I definitely know that Mike Ulan is the right person for that job. So keep an eye on what they're building at Tenki, and I will keep you in the loop as more news comes out about their solution. Okay, we're finally to the Portland Startup Week stuff. I know I teased it up top with the Oregon AI Accelerator and that their demo day might happen during Portland Startup Week. And in fact, it will. Portland Startup Week 2026, the dates have been announced for May, so it's going to be a little later in the year. It used to be early when the weather was still awful, but that was as good a time to do it as any. When I started Portland Startup Week, that was the point in time where it seemed obvious that there weren't events happening, so it was a really good place to put that week. But now that I have handed that off to Josh Carter and he's taken over, he's looking at other opportunities to collaborate with other events like the Oregon AI Accelerator Demo Day and some other major events. that may be happening around that same proximity. But the underlying ethos of Portland Startup Week, the underpinning, if you will, of Portland Startup Week has always been highlighting events that others in the community are organizing and programming. So it's really kind of a grassroots celebration of what may happen quite regularly in the community, but doesn't quite get the attention or love that it deserves. So with that in mind, if you are interested in programming events for Portland Startup Week, if you have an event you've wanted to do and you're looking for an opportunity to do it, or if you have an event that you organize regularly and you're like, I wish more people knew about this awesome event and the awesome people who show up to this event, then you should apply to host an event during Portland Startup Week because applications are now open. So in addition to mentioning the dates, Josh has opened up kind of the call for events. So all you have to do, go to the Portland Startup Week site, submit an event, even if it's still high level. Just kind of pick when you think you will host it and what it might kind of be. You don't have to finalize it yet, but get your idea in there, carve out some space on the calendar so that you can start planning around that and start promoting around that and start getting people to speak or attend or whatever it is you need to do. But get those submissions in. Much like the Oregon AI Accelerator, do not dilly-dally on submitting an application. Even if it's just a fleeting thought and you're like, hey, this might be kind of cool, but put it in, apply. And who knows, Josh may go, that sounds like a great idea. We definitely need that event at Portland Startup Week. And then you're like, oh no, great, pressure's on. Now I have to do it. But, this is how we grow and learn, is by being forced to do things that you didn't expect you would have to do. I didn't expect I would have to read my blog to you every week on YouTube or podcasty things, but here I am. Here we are. And, so submit an event. Who knows what might happen? I might even attend. I don't know. If it's you may dazzle me with your event concept and I may feel obligated to attend. So, there's another potential positive, negative of submitting your application. Get your application in Portland Startup Week, not the first week in May, but maybe the second-ish week in May, somewhere around there, or early to mid-May. I can't remember the exact date. Give me a break. They just announced it. I will let you know thousands of times between now and when it actually happens. But for now, think about your event. Get it submitted. Cool? Cool. All right. That's a wrap. Okay, now is the time when, everybody else has left. It's just you and me. So I generally save this time to reveal a few secrets and just things I'm doing and stuff I'm working on. And this week just seemed like a huge news week, like with the accelerator, with Portland Startup Week, with new startups. I mean, there was Decky and Tanky, and I'm sensing a trend there. That kind of activity. It just felt like there was a lot going on. And, with the holiday season kind of kicking off next week, it really just seemed like a bunch of folks were like, oh, we got to get this news out before holiday season starts. So that was interesting. And speaking of, I need to work on my startup Sienna bit. So I will do a kind of gift ideas, gift list for startup founder types. I did that once before and people hated it. So I think I'll do it again just because they hated it. So if you have a product that you think a startup founder might enjoy, please send it my way and I will consider putting it on the gift suggestion list that I do there. What else happened this week? I held an AMA. I ran about an hour. There were some really good questions. AMA, Ask Me Anything. And that session went really well. I'll link that up if you're interested in watching it. I may chop it up and share some of the questions and answers in a shorter format. Or I may redo some of them. Some of them I didn't have quite good answers for. It wasn't like I didn't know. It just wasn't a very complete answer. So I'll probably maybe record some additional stuff to make those better answers for folks, for you and for other folks. What else is going on? I caught up with Adam Duvander. I hadn't seen Adam Duvander in a while. And, the Demolicious Champion of Champions is coming up. And Adam was the person who started Demolicious and then handed it off to Josh Carter, much in the same way I did with Portland Startup Week. Handed it off to Josh Carter to continue running. And so, if you don't know Adam, longtime member of the community, not only Demolicious, but also helped with tons of events in the community. It was really a critical component of building the tech and startup community back in, 2010 timeframe, those kind of things. He was also one of the first people in Pi, one of the original people in Pi back in the day when it was a co-working space. And he was working at Programmable Web, which was a website that gave you details on all the APIs and what they were good for and all that kind of thing. And I was kind of pushing him. I was like, maybe you should do that for models. Maybe you should be like, if you're trying to do this model is the best thing to do, or this tool on top of this model is the best thing to do. And, I come up with stupid ideas all the time. That's what I do. My job is to come up with stupid ideas to inspire you to make them into better ideas. You go, that's stupid. What you really should do is this. And I'm like, my job here is done. Stupid idea worked yet again. So really good catching up with Adam. Just kind of figuring out where he was at. He runs a consultancy called Every Developer now that helps with DevRel, as the kids call it, the developer relations kind of work. That's the kind of work that he does. And he used to work at WebMonkey way back in the day. WebMonkey was an early, kind of developer resource back when we used to build the web by hand. Anyway, that was, and the other thing I always think of when I think of Adam, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it, but it's seasonally appropriate, is he was the one who introduced me to Turkey Tracker. And you know how I love Turkey Tracker. And if you don't know how I love Turkey Tracker used to be one of those silly internet things where a group of folks would hook, I don't know if it was an Arduino or what it was, Raspberry Pi or what it was, but they would basically hook their turkey up to the internet, and you could kind of watch the temperature go up and see when the turkey was going to be done from the internet. Portland folks who would do that every year, and Adam was the one who introduced me to Turkey Tracker. Maybe I should use Graze. So Graze, that that you can build feeds on Blue Sky. Well, maybe I'll use Graze to build a little turkey tracker on my own. It won't be my turkey, but I can track other people's turkeys, especially if they're taking ongoing photos of the turkey in its various states of cookage. Cooking. Anyway. Oh God. The holidays are here, and I have some content that's very holiday related content that I need to produce outside of all these interesting interviews I'm having and catching up with you every week. There's already a lot of stuff, and I have to do a few holiday related things, so I best get on that. Well, there's some downtime. I better make good use of that downtime, like you should with your applications for Oregon AI Accelerator and Oregon UAS Accelerator and Portland Startup Week. You got a lot of applications to submit, so get on that, please. All right. I hope you're hanging in there. And again, the holiday week, next week, I hope you get some downtime. I hope you get to rest because you deserve it and you need it. So until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.